Sweet, thank you. Hello everyone. It is time. That's pointed at my crotch. That's not where we want to look. Let's fix that. Oh Jesus. Let's get some video feedback. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's no slides. We're just going to look at my terminal. You are going to get to see Tilde Town through my eyes, my crooked, hideous eyes. So I will try to make this readable for the folks here. I think if you're remote, it'll actually be a lot easier to follow along. So this talk, I'm just winging it. I have a tiny little outline, and there's an interest in just hearing what it looks like to run town these days. Like, what do I do? What is the software that I use? So I'll give you a spoiler that it's all weird and idiosyncratic. Some people think that I still automate things with Puppet. That was years ago. I used Django for a while. That was too bureaucratic. So everything now is based on little command line apps that you can run. They're written in Go, and a lot of them you can access over SSH directly. So especially anything external facing. But to start, this is what I look at every day on town. So I have a constant tail-f of our Nginx access logs. I just like it. It's just soothing. I don't know. It's cool. I can tell when someone is getting really interested in self-same. If you remember, self-same is an incredibly wonderful person who's made some really cool things on the town, and I think is like a minor internet celebrity on social media. And some days I just look over there and it's just self-same site, like a torrent, and I love seeing that. So that's kind of it's not a very precise method, but I get to kind of see what's generating interest, what people are up to, what people are posting. Under that is the incredibly depressing watch invocation that tells me how rapidly our disk space is dwindling. Guess what? We only have 8 gigs left, so stop making files. I beg you. We have a much bigger volume. You can see that it's cut off, but oh no, there it is. We have 220 gigs free over here. So you want to know what I've been doing as a professional systems administrator? When somebody's home directory gets too big, I just copy over that other volume and I make a symlink. Enjoy. So that's how I'm addressing that problem. We usually hover around 16 gigs. So in the past 2 days, somebody has filled up 8 gigs on the server, and I'm going to find and I'm going to shame them privately at some point. I just watched that. When it gets under 5, I do something about it. So to the right of that, this is hilariously wasteful, and I love it. And it was a suggestion from Code Squirrel. Shout out to Code Squirrel, who I think was aghast when they found out that I was just running it 24/7. So this is an iNotify watch on PTYs. So I can see who's typing. I don't know what you're typing.
Oh, you're on
video feed.
Move a finger, I think, maybe.
What did I do?
Oh, yeah. Can you touch the laptop, maybe?
Oh, is this not plugged in? Oh, I forgot to plug this in.
Oh no.
Can somebody grab the power cord that is over there, and we will stop that from happening? No.
No, I think it just went to sleep because it's been out for a while. Maybe?
Again, my finger is over.
Quick, someone who's restoration to the little cursor.
Alright, well, unsurprisingly, we have technical difficulties. Alright, we're back. Just go ahead and get that guy plugged in. I don't know where.
You were just using any USB-C.
Any USB-C, yeah. Okay, we're back.
Hey, Bill, is it distracting to have little bass notes playing while you're getting this question?
Honestly, I forgot you were doing it, so
Okay, great.
evidently not.
Great.
If anyone else finds it distracting, speak
Yeah.
up. Cool. Yeah, so I was talking about this thing over here. So this is an iNotify, this is a script, it's running iNotify, and so I know when people type, and I really like this script too, because a constant fear, constant anxiety that I have is like, town is a ghost town, there's nobody around, we just show up and chat, we don't do anything on the server. That's just not true, and it's been really heartwarming to just see people appear and kind of float by. And I don't even think I'm using root to do this. This is just like you can know when somebody is typing. You cannot know what they're typing, but you can know when somebody is typing. So yes, I have that 24/7. It warms my heart. Okay, so what else?
I'm just gonna fill it.
What's that?
I'm just gonna fill it.
Yeah, go for it.
Like if you wrote a script that just constantly wrote out A to a file, would we? No, that's not a TTY though, is it?
No.
No, it'd have to be
No.
something.
I made a robot with a servo motor.
Oh yeah, please do.
Yeah, all right.
That
all
would be
right.
hilarious. I would laugh very hard.
Great.
Yeah, more robots that just slap keyboards, please. Sometimes it fails. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It just keeps going. What's next? Yeah, so I have lots of other tabs open. As a very professional software engineer, you know, I selfishly run my poetry software on town. It's just running tmux. I don't have systemd scripts or anything, whatever. I'm not going to switch to the tab in my email. I talk to people privately there, but I keep BBJ, Alpine, up all the time in a tab just to quickly check. There's another service running in tmux, and then the rest of these tabs are just kind of scratch tabs. So let's dig into some actual software. So I want to start by talking about the lifespan of a town user right now. So if you're an old head, or you know, not even that old. I think I switched this out in the past year or two. I think can't BBJ go to email? I don't remember. Okay, so I gotta open a new terminal for this. So let's pretend that we found out about tilde town, and we found the page /signup. So /signup will tell you to open a terminal. It'll tell you how to do that depending on your operating system, and it will tell you to run ssh join at tilde town. Your first thought might be, dear God, man, did you really add a user called join and you let anyone SSHs them? Yes, I did. It's fine because the SSH server is configured to run my program as their shell. That's it. They can't leave it. They have this one shell, and that user is very cut off from the rest of the system. There's very little that they can do, and that led to some real pain in terms of data collection, because I'm not going to let this user write to a database that has other information in it. So I have a lot of SQLite databases that are all partitioned off by these users, these external users. Okay, so if you haven't seen this, I think it's pretty cute. So this is the adventure game that you have to play in order to apply to tilde town. So it's not much of a game. You just get led from scene to scene, and there's some set dressing, and a character addresses you and just asks you to answer some questions, and just nod at it when you're ready to move on. So let's go ahead and apply. So this first guy, you open your eyes in some kind of workshop. Wires and computers in various states of disrepair are strewn across tables and shelves. It smells faintly of burnt cedar. The wires and components before you slowly drag themselves into the shape of a small humanoid. The wire guy says, hello, welcome to the application for membership in tilde town. Let me know what a good email address is. Just say it as many times as you need to get it right. Once you've told me your email, you can nod to move on. Oh man, what's one that I haven't used yet? Let's try this one. So I'll say an email, and the character responds, I heard you say nks@neongrid.space. Is that right? It is, so I will nod. And you know, a user interface thing here is a lot of people, they just write nod and hit enter like over and over. They missed a little slash there, and I feel bad about that, but also I don't know how else to say put slash before the nod. I don't know. So the workshop fades away. You hear the sound of a dial-up modem in the distance. Trees spring up out of the ground around you. Birches, oaks, maples, firs, yews, pines, cypresses, complete with tiny swamps around their trunks. Junipers, redwoods, cedars, towering palms waving gently in a breeze. Eucalyptus, banyan. The smell is riotous like a canvas with all the colors splashed on. Birds start to sing. A shrike alights on the branch in front of you. Shrikes are my favorite bird. I don't know if you know that. The shrike says, how did you find out about the town? Did anyone refer you? Just say your answer and then nod. I'm going to say no, and then I'm going to nod. You sink down into the soft, mossy floor of the forest. You find yourself floating in darkness. At the far reaches of your vision, you can make out a faint neon grid. Around you float pieces of consumer electronic appliances from 1980s Earth. The VCR approaches you and speaks, flapping its tape slot cover with each word. The VCR says, welcome, thank you for coming this far. Just 2 questions left. What about tilde town interests you? What kind of stuff might you get up to here? As usual, just say your answer, and then nod. So I'm going to say Putin and 2. That's what I'm going to do. So finally,
Would you accept that application?
No, I really want people to actually write stuff here. All right, you realize your eyes have been shut. You open them, and in an instant, the neon grid and polygons are gone. You're in a convenience store. Outside, it's dark, besides a single pool of light coming from a street lamp. It's illuminating some litter in a rusty, blue 1994 Pontiac Grand Am. The shelves around you are stocked with products you've never heard of before, like Visible Pants, Patty Burgers, Gentle Rice, Boost Sponge, Power Bandages, Superwear, knee phones, and Diet Coagulator. A mop is mopping the floor and turns to you. Swishy slop. Last question. Where online can we get to know you? Do you have a personal website? Blah, blah, blah. Leave me alone. So that's it. So the program thanks you, and on the server that has created a row in a database that's walled off, like I said, called, I think, signups, and waits for me to review it, which as of speaking, I think I haven't reviewed somebody in like 90 days. There's a reason for that that will come up in my keynote, actually. But you can quit. So now over on the server, if I'm being responsible, I can run /town/bin/review. So this is an application that I wrote, and it's been augmented by Natalia, which thank you so much. She added search and the ability to page backwards, which I had not implemented. That was actually intentional. I wanted to only move forward in this application and have to quit. I don't know why. I thought it was poetic, but she added going back. But what am I paging through? So I'm paging through applications. So this really long one here, I actually leave here because it makes me very emotional. This is a very beautiful application from someone named Thea. Thea did not leave an email, so I have no way to ever approve this application. But I'm not going to reject it because it hurts, right? I want to approve Thea. She's really nice. So I just leave it there. So application number 1 will forever be Thea, and that will not ever change. It's from August 2023. So you can see in the corner that this is one of 368 applications. Sorry. And what happens a lot is I'll get an application I don't love, and I just take no action. So the first like 100 are just people that I have reviewed. I just haven't hit the big R button.
Does R mean reject?
R means reject. So this column over here, this is a notes box. So I can put a note here about a user, and the other admins can see it. So say I've reviewed somebody and I had some thoughts, I wasn't sure, I'll leave a note there. If I don't know what to do, I just put shrug as a note. Mostly I just review these, so the notes are just really for me. But so let's find that application that I just did. Bootin' tootin', all I crave. So let's say I love this application. I hit capital A. And the email input is weird, right? Like you can just type, like you can type as many emails as you want. So a human has to actually read that text and then figure out what the right email is. And if I just type in garbage, it'll actually warn me that doesn't match any text in what they said, so it's probably wrong. The real danger is when I have a previous user's email address copied and I paste it to the wrong person. Okay, so I'm going to submit that. So what happens when I hit submit? We use our email provider, which is Migadoo, who have been really nice to us. They gave us a coupon. They haven't suspended it. I get suspended from a lot of services, right? Because Tilde Town is this weird thing. We're not an incorporated nonprofit. We're not a business. We look like hackers, I guess. So I get no a lot, and I get like banned no appeal from like email service providers. Migadoo, wonderful humans. They talk to me directly. They were like, "Oh, what you do is really cool. Here's a huge discount." So script will kick an email out to the person who applied, and we're not going to go to my email. I'm going to actually look at it here. God knows what lurks in my inbox. Put on screen.
Can you reference any user's application, like even after they've been approved?
Yeah, everything's kept. So that's part of moderation. Is just like, so I'll get to it later, but I'm working on a tool called TMA. Tell me about. That's an admin tool that just tells you everything about a user account from application to now. Not done yet. So okay, we've got an invite code. So the email just says like, hey, you're accepted. You get an invite code. So at this point, nothing has happened on the server, right? There's just a row in this database and a code got generated. So I'm going to put that in my notes app. Come on, notes app. Got a promise to not look too closely at the script for my keynote. Do let's see. Oh, come on, Obsidian. Okay, we gotta go somewhere else while it refreshes. Let's look at the review that I wrote about Lady of the Strap.
How do you like Obsidian as a content tracker? Is that is good? Do you like it?
Oh, I use it. It's great. Or I switched to a different one that's just like that, but it doesn't use a folder structure, so it's only the graph. And it lets you like define schemas for different types of nodes that I really like.
All right,
Cool.
so I
Just
copied
extension.
the invite code. So now there's a second user that you can SSH as. So the email tells you to SSH welcome at Toldetown. So if you run that, so if it works, I've run this in a while, you get rewarded with beautiful ASCII art. We're glad you're here. So you paste your invite code, and it asks you some more questions. So this is where you actually get to pick a username. In the old systems, you picked a username first, right? And that was a really bad idea because people could just squat on usernames even if they never logged in. They never acknowledged the fact that they were approved. And so I had to clean out well over 1,000 usernames that were for people that just never logged in. Years went by, they never logged in. So this new system, nothing gets created until they've accepted an invitation. That means they have intent. So the desired username is going to be Shrike420, and the email, it remembers the email, it's attached to the invite code. You got to give it a public key, and it will validate the key. So I can't just put garbage data here, right? I have to actually, oh no, I won't do that here. Here. Well, okay. I name things otherwise so much that I have to actually check if I have a key
I do
called
that
otherwise already. I don't. Okay, great. Fucking passwords. Never use the passwords. It's just a waste of time. That's what I say.
Wait, I put my key on Town. Don't put a passphrase on it?
Oh, passphrase. Oh yeah, by all means do that. No, I thought you said you put your key on. Oh, you mean okay? I get it. Yeah, no, you're speaking. You're spitting truth.
That password is just the same as the
Copy.
pseudo passphrase on the machine. So it's just like I know one.
So you paste that in there. Maybe that worked. I don't know. And then you have to agree to the code of conduct. Say yes, and then it's going to make an account. The paste may have corrupted, but I'm pretty sure it validates keys. So I think it would warn me if, or maybe it'll fail now. So yeah, it's turning away on account creation. All right, it worked. So this gives you kind of your next breadcrumb, what to do next. It is to SSH in as yourself, and it tells you how to find your key that you maybe just created. So we will do that and finish this section. Oh, I have to actually do fetch. Hi, I did not follow my own. That's so weird. I don't know how that worked. Whatever, doesn't matter. So I logged in, and you get the MOTD, and you get. That's good. That should work. Right now, you get the town campaign, but this hasn't really changed in a long time. And so this is kind of the frontier of improvements that I'm making. I would really like to have a first user, first run experience. So I want to know that it's somebody's first time, and I want something a little bit more. Here's resources to help you. Here's commands to run, like a little tutorial. You can opt out of it, but that's someplace I'd really like to go with this whole flow. Okay, so that is the life cycle of a new town user. So the various databases all live under /town/var, and there is signups, town, and invites and codes, I think. Do not ask me to explain these. I just kind of made them as I needed based on how I sliced up the permissions of the various external users. So dealing with them is a huge pain, which is why I'm writing a tool that just queries all of them at once and then gives you a nice report on a person, all part of the Toldetown surveillance state working on building out. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about is the town launcher. So anytime that you've run the word town, you're interacting with this. So this is a tool that looks in a directory full of YAML, and every YAML file describes a command. Why do I do it that way? Over the years, people ask me to put things on the path, and I do it, and it's cool, but we're old. We're 10 years old. People leave. People forget who wrote what. So I realized we needed some kind of metadata about who wrote the things that we run. So my incredibly bootleg solution to this is to just have YAML files that say what is this program, what is its description, what is it supposed to do, how do you invoke it, and who maintains it. That is the most critical thing. And then also what is the path to that. So the town command, yeah.
Is there a way metadata to flag this is unmaintained, or the person who wrote this is left, or anything of that nature?
No, but that's a really great point. I mean, having the username can help you figure that out. But
Sure.
yeah, I think it would be good to mark unmaintained. So the launcher will read that directory of YAML. It builds this usage info out of that. And it sounds a little weird, but it mostly works. It's just going to pass, it's going to exec whatever it is you want to invoke and replace it itself with the thing that you're launching.
Is adding a new command an administrator task?
So adding a new command can be done by running. Can it be run without submit? Oh god. To answer your question, there's a submit command, and I don't know where it went. So that's really sad. That would explain why nobody has been submitting commands. I don't know what happened to it. So let's go look in /town/commands.
Is there a path in the future for town command to have tab completion?
Yes, there is. Yes, I just haven't done it yet. Yeah, so I'm using a Go framework called Cobra, and in Cobra I can let you build out tab completion for whatever. I'm building a CLI dynamically, basically. So I'm going through all the YAML files and I'm creating a CLI like dispatch in Cobra. So yes, I could generate tab completion. I just haven't yet. Okay, so yeah, there used to be a way to submit a command for inclusion, and I love that we have found this bug report that you can't do that anymore. So yeah, it's a little command that just asks you the questions. Like what's it called? What kind of program is this?
And then does it go to like a moderation
Yeah,
queue?
it emails me, and then I review it, and then I just manually copy the YAML and make a file because that was easier than writing a whole script to do that. So cool. Let's cut that back at some point. So that's the launcher. There are lots of things in this code base. So town/town/source/town is kind of my mono repo of all the code that I write for town. So it's pretty much all Go at this point, and all the various commands, all those external SSH applications, like requesting GitT access, requesting Gemini, all that stuff lives in here. I think generating the homepage lives in here. So if you're curious about any of this stuff, you can go look. There's helpers for sending emails locally. You might enjoy. It's not that complicated, but yeah, there's some stuff that's reusable in here. There's a stats command that is what happens when you run town stats, which emits a tremendous volume of JSON about the town, which is if you want to make any kind of art based on town contrib. Thank you, Code Squirrel. I thought it was called town submit. Yeah, so town contrib. You
Okay,
run town
cool.
contrib. There we go. Yeah.
My first action will be to make a program called submit that will alias to contrib.
Beautiful. So what else? What is in here? Anything worth talking about?
Okay.
There it is. So contrib.
I could
I
do that
don't
right now.
recall what dumps
We should
does.
leave it
I'm gonna be
back.
honest with you.
Yeah, it's fine.
The launcher. So the request tool is a general purpose tool for just requesting things. So that is what I use to implement the GitT access, Gemini access, that kind of stuff. It's just a generic bit of code that it just knows how to send me an email and like says somebody asked for something. Actually, I think it's mostly automated. Yeah.
I
You
thought
just
GitT
get-
was automated.
Yeah, you just get it automatically. The review code, stats, TMA is in progress. The little TownCon program is in here. I was working on a thing called Town Visit, and then to my delight, we got Town Explorer from Harchanoth, and it's better, and it's what I was trying to make. So I felt extreme relief because I could do something else.
What does Town Explore do?
Town Explorer is an absolutely wonderful command. It is a little TUI that lets you just find out what's going on at the town. So if you say what's new, you get to see changes from around the system. So people's like updated gem logs, guest books, just files that they're working on. And I think this is really nice. I've been trying to solve this problem of presence for so long. I have tried a few times and have thought a lot about how to solve this idea of presence on the town, and that's what this I Notify I think came out of me talking about that and with Code Squirrel. And so I love the Town Explorer. I think it gets you a lot of the information that I wanted to have, like a presence system.
I heard like town dates. There's also like birthdays and like like permanent contributions and stuff like that.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Like, if you were to take a look at birthdays right now, hypothetically speaking,
When you said
Oh,
town date,
happy birthday.
Oh.
Aww.
I didn't even know that was in there. That's wonderful. Thank you. I am delighted.
Also, if anybody wants to draw some ASCII art, I would be delighted to add that to pages that don't have that. Because I have things that are like Explorer, like the Explorer menu or like the My Stuff menus, but like nowhere else.
Nice.
when you said town dates at first, I thought you had implemented a town dating app.
application.
Whoa.
And I say, why shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Town singles.
Town classifieds.
Town contrib, town classifieds. We got it.
You don't have to be single to date someone new.
That's true.
That's
I
true. Yeah.
misspoke.
The
All right,
contrib.
so
Yes.
I have exactly 3 minutes, and in those 3 minutes, I will describe to you the final piece of this puzzle is homepage and other content generation for the web. So you can't read it if you're here, but trust me, it says this is a script called generate homepage. So this is running a few small Go programs that create the blog and the feed for the blog. So the blog is it's just a file full of posts with a format that I created for some reason. Yeah, it's silly. There's no merit to it. But yeah, there's a file called /town/news.posts, and it is yeah, full of like HTML chunks with some metadata for like published date and stuff like that. So GenBlog eats that, creates the blog, creates the XML feed. The list of users is generated as part of the script to catch anybody new. We generate the index. So WDZ rewrote the index recently. It's very nice. It features a rotating selection of projects that people have done and a random list of users, like a subset of users. So that gets regenerated using this cron script. And then finally, it just CPs everything that we generated off to bar www. This approach has been in place more or less for a decade. We've just changed how the HTML is generated, and it works just fine. Sometimes cron is all you need. So yeah, I think that's all I had. But does anybody have any questions or anything they were curious about? Yeah.
As a relatively recent user, I must say that the sign-up process for Town is like the most charming, wonderful, fun experience I've ever had in a terminal.
I'm
So
very glad. And
it's
that's
great.
I'm really glad to hear that.
It's really cute.
Yeah, it's supposed to set the tone, and a lot of people don't take it seriously and invoke standard Channerisms at me about it, and it's just like, cool, you self-selected yourself right out. This is great. So I think presenting people up front with something unexpected and whimsical is a great way to find out who's an asshole. And I have been rejecting a whole lot more accounts since then. And I think that the people who do show up are just a lot more engaged. It feels, like you said, it's exciting. And I get that, I've gotten that feedback before, and I'm super pleased.
Not
So,
just a form.
yeah, exactly.
So
Fuck a form, man. We do forms are for banks. We're not a bank. This is not tilde.bank.
Oh yeah.
No, we got T-Coin. I'm sorry, T-Coin.
Has
We got
moving
one.
it to be a web form, has moving it to SSH influenced how many applications you get in?
I don't know. The rate of applications, I actually think it has gone up. But who knows if that's because of
It's gone up.
it's gone up. But I don't know if that's because of SSH or not. I think more people are just finding us, right?
Mhm.
And I'll talk about this more in the keynote, but like, there are lots of ways that people end up here. And so I think that's more why I'm seeing more signups. Yeah. But I'll say, I haven't tracked this, but I think the conversion rate is better if people actually log in. Yes.
Like I don't have a lot of experience with going through the terminal, navigating through towns. That's something like while I can do the chat rooms, I have almost not explored towns. So that little tutorial that you were explaining at the beginning would be very useful
Awesome,
for me.
yeah.
Because I almost can't. I don't know how to look around.
I know, and it hurts. Like, yeah, like this is not intuitive. And so I think what I've relied on for years is that you go into chat and then people can help you, right? People are like, well, oh, you can run this and you can do that. And I think tech communities, it's so easy for that to be super shady and condescending, to just be told what to do. And I think we're pretty good at
No, I
helping
think
people on board.
But it's almost like I all I have is the chat room. I don't
Exactly.
even know what to ask.
It's
Tilde
not perfect.
for.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been relying on that, but I would love to have a tutorial, like a first run thing. And a Patreon goal that I've never met, that probably thank goodness, is for tilde sh, which is just a whole new shell that just has bash in it to drop down to, but just has a wildly rethought userland of commands, which PowerShell tried to do, and just like double barrel doom shotgun itself in the foot. I think PowerShell is really hard to use. So no, I think there's a lot of opportunities to just making the terminal experience more intuitive to begin with. So I'm kind of dragging my feet on a tutorial. Like, do I want to put that energy into really rethinking what someone's first introduction to the CLI could be? I don't know.
How much are we in a deficit to get you to write a new
I think you got really close and I upped the goal. I was like, oh, I can work on that right now. So we got a question in chat. What are the different ways people can contribute to the town? What are some features that need help right now? So that's a great question. I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, think about what you want out of the town more and what you want to change, and make some suggestions. Run town contrib. I really would love to see more contributions. So please do start running town contrib and tell me if it sucks. Like maybe the UI is bad. And I think the big thing for me is just increasing the sense of connectivity and togetherness outside of chat. Like that has just been my white whale for 10 years. We made a server not empty. Like it's not lonely, but it can be very difficult to figure out that there are people next to you on here. So that's the number one thing that I want to see creative energy around and like have help with is just ideas. So exactly like Town Explorer, things along the lines of the identify script. Yeah, I don't know, just make it more bustling. What's that?
No, that is not what the wall command is for.
So I forgot hilariously that I was going to demo something. I'm over time. I'm sorry. I have one last thing actually, and I swear to God I'm not doing the fucking Apple meme. I genuinely forgot that I was going to show you something. So astute observers will know that I talked a big talk about having a mush ready for TownCon, and I put in a whole bunch of 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour days on it, and it's really close actually. And so by the end of this con, we may have a mush. I just have a couple of last pieces to get in place. A mush, multi-user shared hallucination is my favorite expansion of that acronym. But a mush is a text-based virtual world where it is a combination of chat room, dungeon exploration, going from room to room, and also scripting. So creating little objects that have scripted behaviors.
Is this something we're inventing, or does this exist somewhere else?
This is something that existed for a long time.
I know about mugs, but I never heard of mugs.
Oh, mush is,
Since the 90s.
yeah.
So it's similar to a mug.
Of course, I left my working tree for again.
But more generic. Abstract.
It's like a scriptable mug.
It's a scriptable mode.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're often called moos. So if you look up Lambda Moo, I think that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of time into researching those and their user experience and kind of the experience of scripting them and playing with them. And so I've been working for years and years on this to try to design something that can be a lot like Lambda Moo from the 90s, but actually beginner friendly and even new to the terminal friendly. My goal is to recreate the feeling of the early web where you could just crack open a website and just steal that code. So I want people to be in a dynamic environment where they can crack open a cool object in a chat room and steal that code and then make their own dynamic thing and kind of get into programming in this like copy and paste way. That's wrong. I am going way over now. Could not start server. Is that because it's already running? No. Well, I actually didn't prepare for this at all. I decided as I walked up here that I would do this. Okay, it's working now. Okay, so here we are. You are in foyer. The ceiling is painted with constellations, and you can see floor egg. Floor egg is a classic object from the last mush that I tried to make, which crashed and burned because I was a worse programmer. You can also see Invok's door, and you can see vilmibm. That's you. Your pockets contain one thing, but we can look at them. I rummage in my pockets and I find a plain orb, so I better drop that orb. Unfortunately, no, but when the script editing is done, I could add a ponder handler. And so that I could write /ponder or, and then now you're pondering the or, and things can happen. So the general idea here is that every object can be scripted to provide / commands. So depending on where you are, what's in your pockets, what you're looking at, what the permissions are on those items, you can run handlers that are defined on these various objects. For example, when even looking, look is a verb that objects are aware of. So things know when they're seen, even they can react to just being looked at. And we can make rooms, we can dig, so we can go north.
Objects.
Say it again. No, the numbers are IDs.
Oh, okay.
So if there's ambiguity in the name, so say you're doing like drop orb and there's 5 of them, you gotta use the ID. So I went north into the pub, and then from here, I want to dig down. And so when I look, there's now a ladder in the pub, and I can go down the ladder. And I am now in the construction site. It is a pit, pissed because I type it in. It is a pit of moisture and rubble, and someday it will be something. So this is kind of the basic pattern here. In game, you dig your way into new rooms, you write descriptions. It's this combination of programming and world building, all while socializing, because obviously right now there's just me in here. But you know, I could switch to a different system user.
Doesn't something like this already exists, where you can create rooms and connect them to other rooms? Is the holodeck?
Yes, holodeck definitely exists. Yeah, and you know, I admit that I may be duplicating effort there. This is just I've been working on this project for so long, I'm unwilling to stop. So,
Reinventing the wheel. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I love reinventing the wheel, honestly. It's one of my hobbies.
cool. Oh, I broke this character. Well, anyway, so the second character is getting debug output, but whatever, it didn't crash, that's fine. So this is coming, yeah, it actually has a chance to survive. This child is viable, and hopefully I will have it done by the end of the weekend. So, okay, I've gone way over, now I'm done. Thank you very much.
Cool, though. Yeah.
What's the most scripted with?
Oh, that's a good question. It's Lua this time around. So the first iteration of this code base, it was called tildemush, and the scripting language was a series of macros written in Pi, which is a Python list, and it was such a nightmare to maintain.
You gotta do like the Zorks thing and make your own language that nobody uses for the next ever.
So I'm using Lua now, which I think is a lot more approachable, and it opens the door to things like Fennel and stuff like that. But yeah, I caved on having it be a custom bespoke DSL and list.
So when a user adds stuff, other users it'll reflect in their world as well?
It's okay, I'll make
Yeah.
a plugin for Brendan.
Yeah, it'll say like, you know, something is rose into existence. And
Is there a chat while you're in it?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you don't put a slash, you're just chatting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a range for people you can chat with, like in the same room?
Yeah, so that right now it's the same room, but one of my crazier ideas, I'm still going over who's next. I should let it on topic. So one of my crazier ideas is to have a decaying loudness system.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, doing like a proximity. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I want to have sound traversal. So you don't get the whole message, but you know that there's sound happening. And
Place in the
how
letters
direction
is
to go.
what
And
it
that's a
It'd
key
be cool
feature.
if you could like simulate like signal decay or something.
I know.
Like some sort of
I don't know how
procedural.
crazy I'll go with it, but yeah. Okay, so the next piece of art that you should be engaging with is a beautiful PDF written by Brendel84.